And it's something you had said off camera was that, and it's maybe a drum that you're beating, is that rapport is more important than relationships. And like, what does that mean? Like, kind of dive into it.
I actually had a very, very experienced, quote unquote, seller yell at me about that in a workshop when I brought it up. So the root of rapport is the word trust. Now, do people trust salespeople? All the audience is screaming no, and that's the case. So whenever a buyer is giving us an order, first order, 50th order, doesn't matter. What they're saying in code words is, I trust you. Now, if it's the first order, it's I trust you to deliver based on what I've heard from you. If it's the 50th order, it's I trust you to deliver in the way that you have before. And as a good friend of mine, his name's Carlos, says the sale doesn't come from the relationship comes from the sale. So relationships are super important. But they take a lot of time to evolve. And Harvard did a study several years ago that showed selling based on relationships is actually the single worst way to be successful as a seller. Because you're basically waiting around, keeping your fingers crossed, going, I really hope that Craig gives me a deal today because he really likes me. And the fact of the matter is that a lot of sellers, and especially in Calgary, it's like, well, I took him fishing, or I took him to golf, or I took him to the hockey game. And it's like, I'll take free stuff all day long, man. Doesn't mean I'm going to buy from you.
No.
But heck, I got no problem glad handing and, saying some polite words. So that's what I mean by rapport beats relationships. So it's not that relationships aren't important, but we need to understand that our buyers are not giving us an order because they like us. It's because they trust us. And those are two very different things that sellers usually screw up.
Yeah. It was interesting. You got me thinking about a time, and it probably dates back to the late 90s, where I went into some suit store, and the guy, his, it's almost like a pickup line. Everyone's got this startup pickup line. He walks up to me and puts his hand out and he goes, "Let's be friends." And it's like, let's not be friends.
Pass.
I got lots of friends. I don't need more. And it was probably pre-Facebook, so it was, But I don't want to. I'm good.
Exactly.
I need to trust you. You're right. Like, I really just need to trust you to say, that looks good on you. This is too big. This needs to be cut in. Those sort of things. Versus, I don't really need more friends.
Yeah, very true. Well, and our audience can't necessarily see me. I don't buy off the rack. I'm 6'7" and I have extra long arms. So off the rack doesn't fit in my world. I actually bought a suit once from a store that serves tall individuals, and it was 50% off. But the alterations brought the suit back up to the original price to actually fit me. So I do have to get custom. And this is the thing is, I recently switched over to a different tailor.
I see your label.
And
I see the label.
And
I don't know that label.
Yeah. So LGFG Fashion House. I'll give them a shout out because Aaron is really incredible. And it took me a while to build up the trust. And it doesn't mean he wasn't a nice guy from the beginning, but originally I was like, hey, dude, I got one.
Yeah.
And as much as I like you and I've enjoyed our conversation, I got one. And then eventually it was like, I don't got one anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for something else. And I trusted Aaron enough to stay in touch. And so then I circled back to him and was like, hey, man, I'm ready now. And he's like, happy to help you out. And the other cool thing was he wasn't just sitting on his hands. And this is no detriment to Aaron. This is what a lot of sellers do is they sit on their hands and go, I really hope Carol calls me today. I really hope Carol calls me today. Instead of going out and creating new opportunities and filling their funnel themselves instead of waiting from pennies to heaven, from heaven to fall into the lap.